Hi everyone, in this video I have put together 3 of our favorite stories: The Silent Drum, The Language Keeper, and Why the Rooster Crows at Midnight and Dawn. Let's dive in. The Silent Drum. Long time ago, in the great Ashanti Kingdom, drums were everything. Drums were not just musical instruments, they were storytellers, messengers, and even warriors in times of conflict. They were used for communication, summoning rain, and resolving conflicts. Among them, the Drum of Destiny stands out as the most powerful. Once a year, during the Festival of Echoes, the sacred drum had to be played to awaken the ancestors and bless the land. But for the past 12 years, the drum had been silent. Why? Because many years ago, during a time of war, something terrible happened. A greedy king, desperate to win, forced the Drum of Destiny to speak lies. He made it sound the rhythm of peace, while his warriors hid in the trees, ready to attack. The enemy, thinking the war was over, stepped forward in trust. But it was a trap. That day, blood soaked the sacred forest. The ancestors were angry. The drum had been used for betrayal, and from that day, it went silent. No matter who played it, priest, drummer, or king, it stayed still. The kingdom fell into years of bad harvests, strange illnesses, and lost battles. The people whispered, "The spirits have turned away." Every festival of echoes felt colder. The blessings never came. The silence was not just quiet, it was a curse. This year, the kingdom faced an even bigger problem. A rival kingdom had challenged Ashanti to a drumming duel, a sacred battle where no weapons were used, only drums. Whoever played better would win the sacred forest. That forest held ancestral spirits, and losing it would be a disaster. The best drummers were summoned, big men with strong arms and fancy drums. They played one by one. Boom, bam, dum-dum. But the Drum of Destiny stayed quiet. The elders said, "Only one chosen by the spirits can play it." The king's face tightened. The queen whispered, "Is this how we lose everything?" And so, a call went out across the land again. Villagers came from all over, each bringing their unique skills and high hopes. Among them was a girl named Efua, from a quiet village by the lake. She was different. Efua couldn't speak. She had never said a word since birth, but she had a gift. She could feel rhythm in her bones, hear melodies in the wind, and when she tapped the earth with her fingers, even the birds paused to listen. People laughed when she approached the palace gates with her old handmade drum. "How can a mute girl play the sacred drum?" they jeered. "She's mute. She came to watch, not to play. Go home, child." But Efua didn't flinch. She clutched her small wooden drum and stood still. Her eyes were deep, like someone who knew things others didn't. But the royal priestess, old and wise, watched Efua closely. "Let her try," she whispered. Gasps filled the courtyard. "Try what? The sacred drum? With that tiny hand?" But the king nodded. Efua stepped into the sacred circle. The crowd went quiet. The Drum of Destiny towered before her, taller than she was. It was massive, carved from the wood of the oldest tree in the forest, wrapped in lion skin and tied with gold. No one had been able to play it for years. Many had tried. All had failed. But Efua didn't look scared. She didn't rush. She didn't even try to hit the drum like others had. First she bowed. Then she placed her tiny drum beside her. She touched the earth with her fingers. Then she closed her eyes and waited. The wind held its breath. Then Efua placed her hands flat on the ground. She whispered something no one could hear, something soft, something ancient. The villagers leaned in, watching, and then the earth beneath the drum shivered. The drum, on its own, tilted forward, just a little, like it was listening. Its base sank gently into the soft earth, lowering itself closer to her. It was almost like bowing back. Efua reached up and placed one small palm on the drum's skin, then the other. Boom! A deep, strong sound burst out like thunder. Then another. Boom, boom. Even the birds stopped chirping. Then, tap, tap, dum. She started to play. Not loud, not fast, but the rhythm. It was alive. The drum of destiny gave a deep, ancient groan. Then it echoed, and then it sang. The walls trembled. The winds shifted. The ancestors stirred. People screamed. Some ran. It's waking. It has never responded to anyone before. Efwa kept going, eyes closed, sweat on her forehead. Her fingers danced like flames. Boom, boom, dum, dum, dum. A vision flashed in the sky. Two armies facing each other, one burning, the other rising like the sun. It was a vision of peace, of victory, of unity. Back at the palace, the king couldn't speak. He was crying. It wasn't just that the drum made sound. It was that the drum had chosen to speak, and it had chosen Efua, the girl who no one expected. Across the hills, the rival kingdom dropped their drums. Their chief fell to his knees. "This is not normal," he whispered. "The spirits have chosen." Efua stopped. Silence. Then, the drum of destiny played one final beat on its own. Boom! The crowd exploded with joy. Warriors dropped their weapons. Mothers lifted babies. The queen ran and hugged Efua. "But how?" she asked. Efua simply smiled. No words, just a smile. Efua had no voice, but she had called heaven with her hands. From that day, they called her the voice of the ancestors, the mute girl who made the spirits speak. And the sacred drum? It never made a sound for anyone else except Efua. It had chosen her. And that was the story of the silent drum, how a quiet heart can awaken the world. Efua showed us that you don't need words to make a difference. Sometimes, all it takes is courage shining through the smallest actions. If you enjoyed her quiet courage, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories. I can't wait to share the next adventure with you. See you soon on In the heart of a hidden village, only the elders spoke the old language. The younger ones had never learned it. No one had ever taught them. And the elders whispered it in secret, ensuring it was never heard. But why? Except for Toby. Toby was different. While the other children played, he listened. While they looked away, he watched. The elders spoke in hushed tones, believing no one understood. But Toby did. One evening, he overheard something that made his heart race. If the words are lost, the truth is gone forever. Toby's breath caught. What truth? This is the story of the language keeper. Determined to find answers, Toby crept into the elder's hut under the cover of night. The door creaked as he stepped inside, his eyes adjusting to the dim glow of lanterns. Shelves lined the walls, filled with old scrolls covered in markings. Dust swirled in the air as he reached toward one, its edges worn by time. His fingers hovered over the parchment. What was written here that no one wanted him to see? Just as his fingers brushed the surface, a voice behind him. Toby. Toby spun around. An elder stood in the doorway, his face unreadable. You understand, don't you? The elder said. Toby hesitated, but nodded. The elder sighed. There is something you must see. Without another word, the elder led Toby through the village. past sleeping huts, past the towering trees, to a place no child had ever entered before. A trapdoor creaked open beneath their feet, revealing a dark staircase. Toby stepped inside. The walls were covered in carvings, words from the old language, symbols and phrases he had never seen before. These words hold the history of our people, the elder said, but only a few of us can still read them. Toby reached out and read the first sentence aloud. His voice echoed through the chamber. Suddenly, a deep rumbling. The wall behind the carvings shifted, revealing a hidden passage leading deeper into the earth. Cold air poured from within. The elder's eyes widened. No one has spoken those words in years. The tunnel stretched deep underground, filled with dust and heavy air. Faint torchlight flickered against the rough walls, revealing strange symbols carved into the stone. At the very end, surrounded by broken rocks and forgotten objects, sat an old wooden chest covered in faded markings. Toby stepped forward, his heart pounding. The elder stood nearby, watching in silence. The chest's lock had a symbol he recognized. Taking a deep breath, he pressed his palm against it. Click. Slowly, the lid creaked open. Inside was a scroll, its edges worn with time. Unrolling it, Toby's eyes widened. It was a banishment decree. A long time ago, the tribe had erased part of their own history. A powerful leader had tried to change their way of life, forcing them to abandon traditions, including the old language. Those who resisted were driven away, never to return. The elder murmured. The truth had not been lost. It had been hidden inside a scroll. Toby turned to the elder. Why wasn't this spoken about? The elder sighed. Some believed forgetting was safer than remembering. Toby knew what he had to do. The language wasn't just words. It was the key to a lost past, a past his people needed to reclaim. But as he stepped out of the chamber, scroll in hand, shadows moved in the distance. Not everyone wanted the truth to rise again. Toby barely had time to react before 3 villagers stepped forward. Their faces were tense. You've gone too far, one of them muttered. Toby clutched the scroll tightly. We deserve to know the truth. The tallest villager sneered. The truth brought war once. It will bring it again. Toby's mind raced. Could it be true? Had the language been erased to protect the tribe from something worse? He had a choice, keep the truth hidden or fight for it. Toby turned to the elder beside him. What happens if we remember? The elder's voice was calm. Then we heal. Toby took a deep breath. He lifted the scroll high. I will teach the words again, he declared. The villagers stared. Some looked afraid, others curious. One by one, they stepped forward, not to stop him, but to listen. And for the first time in generations, the old words rose in the air again, not as whispers, but as voices of strength and unity. The village changed that day. The past, once buried, had returned, not to bring destruction, but to bring understanding. Toby didn't just find the truth, he restored something far greater, a spirit of courage, curiosity, and the will to seek answers. And that is the spirit we need, even now. In a world that moves forward, we must not forget where we come from. If you believe in preserving history, learning from the past, and embracing knowledge, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. In the peaceful animal village of Ogudu, everything ran on time. The animals woke when the rooster crowed at dawn, worked through the day, and rested when the sun went down. The rooster, named Kokoro, was proud of his job. "I don't just crow," he'd say, puffing out his chest. "I wake the world." But one night, things took a new turn. Kokoro crowed at midnight. "Kukuruku." His voice echoed through the village, waking everyone in shock. "What's going on?" grumbled Goat, peeking out his window. "Is it morning already?" asked Sleepy Rabbit. But the sky was still dark. The animals were confused and a little scared. The next day, the animals gathered at the village square. "Is Kokoro losing his mind?" whispered Parrot. "Maybe he's sick," muttered Cow. "But he never makes mistakes," said Owl. "He's the best timekeeper in all of Ogudu." Kokoro tried to explain. I heard something last night, something strange, like a drum and whispers in the wind." Everyone stared. "Drums? In the middle of the night? There's no one out there, Kokoro." Monkey laughed. "Maybe you dreamed it." But deep inside, Kokoro was worried. Something had woken him, something he couldn't explain. The next night, Kokoro stayed alert. He perched on the tallest roof in the village, eyes wide open. Midnight came, and again, "Kukuruku," he crowed. Not because he wanted to, because he was afraid. He had heard it again, the drum, slow, distant, and getting closer. Boom, boom, boom. This time other animals heard it too. Owl opened one eye. What was that? Tortoise looked around. "I haven't heard that sound since the elders spoke of the Forbidden Hill." Kokoro, Owl, and Brave Monkey decided to follow the sound the next night. They crept through the tall grass, past the yam fields, and up toward the Forbidden Hill, where no animal ever dared to go. The drumming grew louder. Then, silence. They reached an ancient tree with carvings on the bark. Beneath it, a hidden cave. Inside, they found something unbelievable, an old talking drum, glowing faintly. It was beating by itself. Owl gasped. "This drum? It's the lost drum of time." Monkey trembled. "My grandma told me this drum controlled the seasons and the stars, but it vanished long ago." Kokoro stepped closer. The drum pulsed once and then stopped. Suddenly, a voice echoed in the cave. "The balance has shifted. Time is broken. The rooster must not only wake the day, but guard the night." The drum stopped glowing. Silence again. Back in the village, the animals gathered. Kokoro told them everything. The drum was warning us. There is a shift coming. I must crow at midnight, not to wake you, but to protect you. Owl nodded. The world is changing. We all have to adjust. From that day on, Kokoro had a new duty. He crowed twice, once at midnight, once at dawn. At first, the animals found it strange. But one night, dark clouds filled the sky. The wind blew strong. Lightning flashed across the sky. Thunder roared in the distance. The river near Ogudu rose quickly. Water was coming straight for the village. Just before it hit, Kokoro crowed. "Kukuruku!" The animals woke up, startled. "Flood!" shouted Monkey. "Run to the hill!" cried Owl. The squirrels carried their nuts. The tortoises helped the little ones. The beavers protected the dam. Together, they saved the village. Monkey looked at Kokoro and said, "Your crow saved us, Kokoro. Without it, we would have all been washed away." And from that night on, Kokoro crowed, at dawn and at midnight. Not because he had to, but because he knew that sometimes, even the oddest things happen for a reason. The animals never laughed at him again. Instead, they listened, just in case the night had something important to say. Because sometimes, the answers we need come from the most unexpected places. And you know what? Till today, many roosters don't just crow once at dawn. Some crow again and again, at midnight, at noon, even in between. Maybe, just maybe, they're still trying to tell us something. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you loved this tale, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more magical stories from the animal kingdom. See you in the next one.